Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Sober Swole podcast. My name is Jake Howard.
And I go by DJ Swirl.
Chocolate and vanilla swirl.
And before we get introducing our guest, who's already having a great time this evening, give a shout out to Royalty Nutrition. And to help me out with that, as always, here is Warhorse.
Hey, it's Warhorse. Do you want your workouts to look like this? Or do you want your workouts to slay? When Warhorse picks his pre-workout, he wants it to slay. If you want second place, go with somebody else. If you want to be a champion, go with Royalty Nutrition.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Royalty Nutrition is a veteran owned and operated supplement company that doesn't automatically use the cheapest ingredients in their products to make stuff that helps you reach your fitness goals. Check them out and use the discount code 37HAKE to save you 50% on your entire order. My next shout out of the evening will be to Gorilla Gains. That's gorilla-gains with a Z.com. Check them out. They're a fitness apparel company that you can wear comfortably in and out of the gym. They also make great equipment that helps keep you safe while you train. Use the discount code Jake15 to save you 15% on that order as well. Now I'm going to turn it over to old DJ Swirl to tell us about the Buy to Buy Empire.
What's up, everybody? It is the holiday season once again. And if you are shopping online or in store and you find you don't have the time, towing, or the muscle to get what you need home, hit us up at Buy to Buy, BUYTOBYE, everywhere you are online, buytobuy.com. Yes, simple made easy. And this is the content creation side of the business, Buy to Buy Studio. So if you have a podcast, if you have a show, if you've got a brand that you need more awareness drawn to you, if you would like to elevate your current offering, hit us up. We always provide high quality at low cost at a sound decision. That is Buy to Buy Studios, everywhere you are. Jake, who we got tonight?
Ladies and gentlemen, tonight on the show we have my friend Mrs. Heather Watts.
Hi.
Nice. So Heather, so we've known each other for what, like 5 years, 6 years, something like that?
Yeah, like 2016. Yeah.
Yeah, many
Seems
moons,
very
many moons
like.
ago. And then just getting to know you throughout the years with little bits and pieces. Like you've had a pretty interesting life. So what all, to the best of your comfortability, what tell the people who you are. Where is it, the echo coming from? Is that me?
No, I think that's coming from her. She's listening it to
No,
it back on her speakerphone.
no. Oh, that's me. I had my.
Oh, that is you. You
Yeah.
amateur.
I've only been doing this for only been doing this for 3 years. Still can't figure shit out. Anyway,
I'm in a movie theater. All right. Well, I'm Heather. I am really just a nobody, but trying to be somebody like everybody. I used to live in Austin, so I went to Hog. I trained with somebody that we all know, and that passed away. And it was one of those things where I went to bodybuilding, and now I have my own thoughts about that. And I changed into about 4 years later. I finally started competing again, and I am doing much better, much happier. Went pro, and life is really good. I've had a lot of life changes from 2016 to now. Really, really good. Most of them. So pretty. I'd say 99% of them. So it's nice.
well, one of those things is you met your husband Rob, and how did that come about?
Oh, he kind of came new to Texas, and because he looks like he does, every girl wanted and loved him. Um, he actually was dating somebody on a team of mine, and after they stopped dating, I kind of slid into his DM, and it was kind of accidental. It was very accidental, actually. I had been on a string of 4 years of ridiculous dating, and if anybody's dating, I am so sorry. so sorry. The pond out there is quite small and it's full of horrible, horrible people. But I got the last, I think, and we started talking in January of 2019, and we were married by June. And we have been amazing ever since. We get better every day, I swear to God. And I know that's the cheesiest thing and blah, blah, blah. But people, if they know us, they see our posts and, you know, we're pretty crazy about each other.
Yeah, you two dorks are
Oh,
super in love.
we are. It was funny. I was at my mom's couple weeks or maybe a month or some time ago. And she was talking about mine and Rob's post. And I go, do people think that we're fake? And she goes, they just don't understand how you guys can actually be that in love. I'm like, do you tell them it's real? She's like, yeah. She has to explain other things like, no, she really does wear heels and mud all the time, you know, shit like that too. Like, she does dress like that all the time. Or no, she doesn't have clothes on most of the time. It's to catch 22. So my poor mom. My poor mom. So,
No, oh man. Yeah, so one of the things I really wanted to bring you on the show about was um, because you've had such a vast array of life experience, and you know, like you do model, you are very free, but so as a as a coach myself, and then a competitor once upon a time, um, I see it's very easy for a really honestly sexualized industry, especially when it comes to the women, for a lot of women to be really just taken advantage of. Now, I was really wanting more of your perspective on this. I mean, there was a big article that came out from the Washington Post that was accusing the Manions
Manion,
being quite inappropriate.
little,
Yep,
little Manion.
yep. And then I was just, I mean, is this something that you have ever experienced or have seen?
I mean, I personally, it it's hard to describe what's experienced. I think each person's experience is what they make it. I mean, I've been approached by specific individuals, you know, and told, you know, if you fuck me, you'll get farther. I chose not to fuck them, and I didn't get farther. And it's not because of that; it's because I didn't have the body for it yet. Like, NPC wasn't my thing. I tried real hard. I got down to like, you know, some crazy ass body, and still didn't get there. And there's a point where you have to choose how important that plastic trophy really is. Are you willing to, you know, do shit like that to get it? If so, then I think that's a conversation that maybe it's, you know, why? Why are you willing to do that? So, but then I have to also kind of look at the other side where there's things that I don't know and situations that I haven't been in, that I might not understand. I don't have all the nuances. I don't know all of the details, and so I have to keep in mind that, you know, my experiences or refusal to have said experiences are different than others. So, and you know, people will come to me and say, hey, well, this happened to me. And I'm like, well, that sucks. I'm really sorry. Can you tell me why? And because I want to know what their thought process was, because I don't have the same one. And I think it's only fair to not just jump on them and say, oh, you're stupid and you're a hoe. That's not the case. I mean,
Right.
they had in mind and how they thought they were going to get there, or whatever they experienced. It's different. It's, I can't discount it. I can only say what I would have and have done.
Well, so I mean, coming from a man's side of things, when I first really got into the sport, I mean, I was really naive to a lot of things, just in general, like when it comes to eating, training, posing, who you know, what to say, what not to say, you know, the politics side of it.
Mm.
But I think there's a lot of there's a lot of young women and women in general who really get into the sport the first time, and a lot of times it's this is the first time they're getting a lot of that attention,
Oh yeah.
you know, and I think you know, and this is not, I'm not trying to shame anybody for really feeling themselves, you know, but like I think that a lot of times that gets taken advantage of. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, you know what? It happened to me. I mean, you get this body that I mean, you work fucking hard for, and you didn't think that you could get, and you're getting attention, and you're getting this misdirected, sense of pride necessarily is kind of how I feel sometimes. And I mean, that's just what it is. We are an instant gratification world. We are an instant validation world, and this is the fucking place to get it if that's what you want. Um, Now realizing that's what's happening, I think that's a whole beast in itself. I mean, and it can be depressing when you realize that you're like, wow, I had like what 25, 30,000 followers before I deleted that Instagram. I've got
Mm-hmm.
even two, and I don't care. I used to care. I used to have this thing that told me like how many dropped off. It was dumb. It was dumb. It has all the little statistics in it and who sees it. It was so engrossing that you start to feel bad about yourself. At least I did. It affected relationships. It affected all kinds of stuff, and I just was like, this isn't worth anything. I don't care about this. I saved all the pictures, and I was out for like a year, and it was great. But girls, I mean, they do, and there's so many like disgusting guy predators out there too that they have to be
Mm-hmm.
really careful.
Well, so we have a mutual friend that's a female bodybuilder pro, and her DMs are a mess. We laugh about that from time to time. Like, and because she was out in Phoenix doing the Wings of Strength Rising Phoenix show,
Hmm.
and I went out and went up and met up with her, and I was like, "You want to choke me a little bit?" just a
Killer Sally. Killer Sally.
huh?
Have you ever seen the movie or the documentary called Killer Sally?
I have not yet.
Oh,
I've heard it's great.
I've only gotten past like the second episode, but there's some sexualization of women on there.
Hmm.
Just like
Well, that was that was one of the things that when I read that article, because there there was like a plethora of like posing sites and like things like that to go on, and then because there's a muscle woman fetish out there for real, and then I think especially once the ladies move more into women's physique and into bodybuilding, you get the real, why don't you come over to my house and kick my ass, those kind of things, and
I have a an opinion on that, and it's not popular, which is why you love. I feel like a lot of those muscle worshipers are bisexual or gay men, and that's the farthest and the closest that they're going to get to a man in a bi or gay relationship is by worshiping their physique.
okay.
Opinion.
Well, is that kind of like the powerful CEO that likes getting his nuts stepped on kind of thing?
Oh,
Don't you think?
billions. Yes, I think it is a transfer of power thing, or just hey, this is their thing. Everybody's got a thing. Let them have their thing. That's just my
Yep.
opinion on what.
Yeah, I was just it was so just get back into the exploitation of the more naive people. Like,
Right.
what are some things? What would some advice that you would give to a young lady getting into the sport, or to avoid maybe such things?
I think that if they're going to have this hobby, that they need to figure out why. Why do you want to do this? I actually had this conversation with a couple of different people that were trying to get into it, and they were having troubles. And I'm like, well, why do you want to do it? I'm like, it's literally if you don't have like something like a good reason, it's a waste of money, and it can be a waste of time, and it can be really bad for your mental and your physical and your emotional health. I mean, there's so many things that are good about it, so many things that are bad, but you have to figure out which one and why you're in it. I think that's extremely important. If you're in it to get likes, if you're in it to get laid, cool, you're in the right place. But some people have actual goals. They're like, I want to go pro. Okay, that's a
Right.
goal. Or I just want to do bucket list.
Yeah. I have a like bucket list people are. I have a great, but also like please take it seriously kind of thing.
Yeah, I just know people personally who've gotten on stage, and I mean, I myself shouldn't have been on stage the first time I was, but I had,
Mhm.
you know, goals past that. I just didn't know because I didn't know how I was supposed to look. Now I do. But somebody's get on stage and they're like, they know they're not supposed to be up there, and what makes me mad about it is that their coaches tell them that they are comparable to the other people on stage, or they make them
Mhm.
believe, make them think that it's going to be okay. And I think it probably just degrades their since their self, how they look at themselves even more when they get up there. Granted, they should know they wanted to get into this. I'm hoping they researched what you know, the goals are to look like up on stage, but it doesn't matter. Some people can put some shit in people's head and they will believe it, and it's sad. And then they're like, well, if you just put this in your body, then there's a
Mhm.
whole rigmarole that it's really kind of sad. But
Well, so my first time on stage was I coached myself. I only did novice, and I wanted to see what the sport was about. You know,
cool.
and that was, and I was like, okay, now I know what I need to do, kind of thing. And I'll compete in the open from here on out, kind of thing. But
Did
that
you
was,
research, like, hey, this one's supposed to look like? Plus, you coached yourself, so you knew. So you had a little bit of knowledge first of what you were going into and what it possibly took.
well, I was a big fan of Rich Piana back in the day. I watched all those YouTube videos. And
What?
hell yeah,
Oh,
hell yeah. I got some 5% nutrition stuff right now. Don't tell David though, my royalty nutrition guy.
shh.
No, they make a great nootropic.
Mm. I don't
I
really
like it.
part of anything at all anymore.
Mm.
I mean, it's anything I take. It's all Revive MD stuff. My husband gets it, and it's awesome. Hunter Labrada and Liv Roth and all of them, they
Mhm.
like it. My teammates and stuff, my coaches like it too, and it's good shit. So, but yeah, it's crazy to think of Rich Piana. God.
Well, I mean, if you want to talk about a guy that really kind of preached the same way you preach, it was like, well, this is the life.
Oh, I loved
This is
him.
yeah, this is the life. If you want to look like this is what you have to do. This is the way bop bop bop. I mean, he definitely did some things that I'm not, I don't agree upon, but I appreciated his I guess his rawness through it all.
His candor was amazing. Yes.
Yes.
Like, I'm on steroids. I will be on them forever, and I won't die from steroids.
And lo and behold,
No steroids.
his heart exploded. It was crazy. No one saw it coming.
Talk about it.
But yeah,
Yeah.
that's another thing that we can touch on too. Is in order to get that big and stay that big, especially like women on steroids is a whole different animal. But when it comes to men getting that big and staying that big, the drugs that you need to take and maintain on top of making sure your food is right, yeah, 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 is
Hmm.
crazy. And that's even if you're doing it the healthy way, like with your blood work all the time. You're getting the right amount of sleep. You're not doing any extra curricular drugs in the meantime.
What?
And that's another part of the sport that you don't ever really hear about, but it's a big deal. A lot of people up at the top are just coked out, and
Uh, I mean, yeah, everybody has their thing on that too. I'm not mad about it. I think that there's, I've been there, I've done stuff, and I think it's whatever they want to do. Sorry, I was turning on a light. Um, But yeah, that you don't know about that at all.
Yeah.
And that's when some of those impressionable girls and boys could get hurt too.
Hmm.
You know, you know, if you don't even know that you have an addictive personality, you're about to find out through
That's
the, just the sport itself causes addiction. You get addicted to how you're supposed to look every day. You get addicted to your training. You get addicted to your food. You get addicted to your schedule. You're just an addict, and it can go so fucking far. I mean, there, you and I know tons of girls from Hog that they can't go out to eat at their grandma's fucking birthday and eat a slice of cake. They got to bring their fucking Tupperware tilapia. They can't have a life ever, and it's just like, God, what is happening? And you know what? I did it too, but I got out of it because I could see it. And this prep for me for WBFF was awesome. It to the extent where my husband and I went on 4 vacations. We, you know, ate like we wanted to, but in moderation. And I just did things differently. I did a month prep. I didn't force my body into doing something that it didn't want to, and then my body on the second responded like that. And so one of my things is, look, you can live, you can have a life, buckle down when you're to like, but you don't have to have this just macro man life. Your food and your life don't have to be the same. Boring.
right. So I came into the sport already sober. I did my first show just over a year um, of sobriety, and
Mm-hmm.
then it was as I focused my addiction into another addiction, really. And I've said repeatedly, bodybuilding saved my life, honestly, because it made me realign and figure out that I don't need this, and that to get by, and I can focus my addictive energy to somewhere else. And and I that's it was great when I was rocking and rolling. The hardest part I had, speaking of addictions, was when I moved out here and started. When I became a father, it was like I had to kind of step back and realign because I'm not going to miss, especially when my kids are so young, I'm not going to miss a lot of their life being in a prep. As much as I
Yeah.
would really, as much as I would really love to be, like I miss that being on stage feeling, and I miss being as big as I can be and as lean as I can. Because let's just be real, I look fucking good when I'm in shape, and
You love looking, lean, but man, I sure like my favorite body is probably right now. I mean, it's good for a day, but you feel so good the next day after you eat that pancake or that anything.
yeah. Oh man.
But man, we look good on stage for that. Yeah. So
Well, well, I
it's
was
definitely
looking.
though too. It's hard. This shit is not
Mhm.
easy. Saying this, you get on stage in 3 months and it's good. No, it is hard. So you can either figure out a way to make it easier and manageable, or not.
Yeah,
Can't even imagine.
it,
So proud of you. I'm so glad for you.
oh, thank you. Sorry you broke up. Like, oh, it's wild. My son will be here like soon.
You got to stop having kids.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not happening.
Ryan
Whoa,
agrees.
whoa,
It's not
whoa.
happening. It's not happening. This man.
I love your wife, and that's fucking amazing.
She's a trooper. She. I was talking to my buddy. I was talking to my buddy Bryn when we were out quail hunting, and he goes, "Oh, thanks, man." I was talking to my buddy Bryn when I was out hunting. I was telling him what's up. He goes, "Jesus Christ, get off of her!" I was like, what am I supposed to do?"
You can put a raincoat on. That usually helps the storm.
No, so this last one
Oh no.
was raincoats and like pulling out even though wearing raincoat and like
What
Lies.
She's Mexican. I'm Irish. With our powers combined,
Lies.
we're the most fertile people known to man.
Damn. Yeah. Um, but I don't know. I can't say much. My son was conceived somehow. We were drunk as shit, but there was birth control and all this other stuff. But something went wrong.
Yeah, I mean, I was a birth control baby.
Something went wrong.
Got those magic genes. Like, no, it's gonna happen.
Nip though, because that was
Well,
fun.
so I've called. I have to get reestablished with the VA doctor, and
Who did
then
Chop?
what?
Dick Chop in Austin. There's one. His name is Dick Chop, and he literally does vasectomy.
Woo!
His name is
Go see Doctor Dick Shop.
Doctor. He was made and born for his. We looked him up just because we were laughing. Rob and I like to look up. It makes for a happy marriage.
Oh yeah.
Talk and you think of shit like, I'll Google that.
Mm-hmm.
It could be dangerous. But
Oh, you said, tell me about this, about your sauna.
oh, I love.
Yeah.
So we have an oxygen sauna, and you can make oxygen water, which I didn't do this morning, but I usually do it every day. I wake up and you have like a carafe of water. You put this wand in there, and you're hooked up to actual oxygen and a generator. It creates these oxygen bubbles, and you can smell the oxygen in the water. And you drink that, and then usually then I'll get another glass into this sauna, one of those portable saunas. I put and to that too, sitting there for 20 to 30 minutes with the oxygen, filling up your blood cells, and then you're drinking the oxygen water. And one of the things that our bodies lack most, which cancer thrives on, is lack of oxygen in our cells. There's a there's like a 72-page study that's probably it's really very informative. Nikola Tesla actually helped invent this technology, so I can tell that it works. I used to have such a hard time doing cardio. I don't have that. I hardly breathe heavy doing cardio, and I do sprints uphill at 27 incline for 20 and 40 seconds at a time. I mean, it's awesome. I feel it. Just the sauna itself helps with inflammation. Um, 2 days before my show, I woke up with the flu. It was like 100 degrees, 102-degree fever. I got in there, and then I drank some NyQuil, and 4 hours I was good. I was good to go. So I did it for it's probably about 2 months now. I love it, and it's awesome. I think it's one of our best investments that we've ever had, and one of the reasons that we got it was supposed to help just muscle tissue and back pain, just different things like that. Also, because like I said, one of the leading things that cancer is lack of oxygen. Two different kinds, and I'd like to not have them again.
Yeah. That's what I was going to ask you about. So it's you're not just a competitor, Billy Badass. You've beat two forms of cancer.
Yeah, I mean they weren't
Yeah.
terrible. One was skin cancer. When the doctor first saw it, they thought it was like stage 2, which was shitty, and it had ended up being like 1 millimeter under that. So stage 1, they just were able to do surgery. It was on my back. I have like this vagina-shaped tattoo. That's cool. And then literally 2 weeks after I found out about that one, I found out that I had cervical cancer. Whoa!
Yeah. Woo.
that day that I found out, I was literally about to get in the shower to get ready for a photo shoot for a magazine, And my husband was like, we're going to cancel the shoot. And I was like, no, we're good. And so the photographer came, and he's one of our, he's one of the best, he's one of our favorites. He came, got in and out. I think I got ready in like 30 minutes. Like, let's do it. And then it was turned out to be some of the best photos I've ever taken. So,
Oh, was that when you did what magazine was that? That was
Habit magazine. It was my
the Habit
first
ones.
for spring of 2022. Yep. So that was the day I found out I had a second cancer, and here we go.
Anyway, I'm naked.
Why not? No,
Well,
fun shoot.
that's something I've told people too. There's a lot of people that it's not that they're necessarily uncomfortable with doing a photo shoot. It's just they're like scared of it. And I said, well, as long as you're doing stuff that you're comfortable with doing, you do the shoot. I mean, you're not going to look like this forever.
Yeah.
And then you're going to want to have some crap that you're something that you can look back on and be like, see, grandma was hot as fuck.
Have to be naked. You can have all kinds of range of, you can have a dress on. I mean, it's whatever suits comfortable for you. I mean,
Right.
really, and I didn't actually like my body at all, even after my first and second competitions. And I started doing shoots um, that were much more risque in an effort to love myself. The turning point for me on how I looked at myself, honestly, um, for these shoots and stuff like that, was I was getting ready for a shoot, and I wasn't in prep. And a friend of mine was like, "Oh, you don't do shoots when you're not in prep because you don't look your best." I'm like, "Well, I think I look right." And
Yeah.
then that motion, the platform that I still have is you should love yourself in every form, which I falter. There's sometimes, fuck this body, but everybody does. But I mean,
Mhm.
in the you can't do it when you are ripped, and you should feel comfortable with yourself and your body. And as I got more comfortable, and my husband is a huge part of that. He just adores me, and I'm sure your wife feels the same when you're adored by somebody who's just makes you feel like 1,000% every day that you wake up. Getting naked is way easier.
Yeah, I've really struggled with a lot of body dysmorphia, a lot, still do. Like I was telling Ryan, was it last week or 2 weeks ago? It was I took I was in the garage. Like I'm finally, after my back is feeling better. I'm back to training and moving and feeling good, and I was deadlifting for real for the first time, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna hit some poses. I want to see what I really look like. So I I set my camera up, I do my poses, and I go and look at everything, and I went because I am far from what I was
Yeah.
probably the last time you saw me. But like I have to remember that um, I'm like that not because I hate myself, but it's because I changed my priorities, and I'm not necessarily unhealthy.
What an awesome way to fucking think. Like, this isn't my fucking priority right now. My priority is my family, and that's how it should be. Like, this can come in and out. It's never going to leave. It's always going to be there. I mean, do it, don't do it, but there's a happy medium. I really believe that there's a happy medium in everything that we do. We just have to accept it. And I think that's a huge, people do not accept the medium because it's not okay to other people, and the happy medium is amazing. They should try it.
Well, I'm not currently satisfied. That's because I'm soft as shit because I haven't been training for a while. But I one of my big things though is even though I am really focused on being the best dad and husband I can be, it's I would I really don't want my kids to be raised around a bum either. Dad is strong, dad is, I'm not huge, but dad is big, dad is, and
Dad is
he's
cares about himself, and dad cares about his body, and
he's
stuff like that.
yeah. health
That's
was really important in our house.
yeah,
That kind of.
yeah. I think that's missing in the whole world. Actually, it's just America. Um, dumb and fat. I mean, it's bad. It's bad. It's sad, honestly. I see it personally a lot. It's sad. Raise your kids
Well,
to right.
I'm sorry. You see the kids what?
Raise them to eat right.
Yep. And it's I was thinking about this today, and I was talking to Brittany, and I was like, because it was one of the kids was, I don't like this, and I'm not going to eat this, and I was thinking, and I looked at her, I said, our kids have never been hungry, you know, and it's one of those like I'm really grateful for that, as much as frustrating as that is, but it's like our kids have never like starved for real, where they just had to shut up and eat.
Yeah. Well, I think that's
Like,
a amazing thing to be able to provide for your kids. At the same time, we're like, oh shit, maybe they should be hungry for a minute.
yeah, that white trash starts to kick in. Like, listen here.
I'm gonna feed you beans for 3 nights.
I thought that's what camping was for.
I like beans.
No, no, no. That's no slight to beans. That's a slight to camping.
Oh, camping's great. I go with my buddy Nate out here. We go. We find spots up north and up in the mountains, and we go. Okay, we're going out. Suffer.
No, camping isn't a bad experience. It's just if you want to talk about deprivation, if you want to give your kids the insight of starving or not having, electronics and all the stuff that they're accustomed to, then taking them camping, not glamping, but just tent on the ground, build a fire like straight up caveman style.
So I
th-
did sampling. Like that's awesome. I love it.
yeah.
Kids.
My girl saw it on TV in a show we watched, and then they were like, "Let's go camping." I go, "Yeah, let's."
Mhm.
We'll
Nope.
never go again. Never go again.
Dude, I love that. I love getting out in this. Like, I took my stepson out quail hunting, and I had him just like, you will. Okay, we're all online. You're gonna stand right behind me. That's it. You're not getting in front of me. You stay 2 steps behind me. And we were just, but we were just out walking out in the desert for hours, and he was just like, "Oh, what kind of plant is this? What is this? What's that over there? Hey, can I shoot your shotgun?" And I laughed because he's 9, and so absolutely.
That's amazing, though. Did he shoot it?
Oh hell yeah! Well,
Oh
it
yeah.
was more of I held it for him and then let him shoulder it and pull the trigger, but so he wouldn't fly back 80 feet and 'cause- but
That's
yeah
awesome.
and then I carry a Ruger 9mm with me just in case any like javelinas run up on me because I fucking hate those things.
What
And
are those?
javelinas are like they look like pigs, kinda, but they're actually a rodent, and I loathe them. I let him shoot my 9. He thought that was really cool. I was like, got him.
Well, that's an experience you should have, though. Guns are amazing. There.
I
Sorry,
have a
guys. I hit a charger. I know that light wasn't good.
yeah, you're good. I have a few weapons, a few.
Do you?
Yeah, I mean, I have never been I don't want to like collect an arsenal, but I have, here's my home defense. Here's my obviously hunting shotgun for birds and shit. Here's a, a rifle. you know,
The best thing was when I found out that I had cancer. My husband and took me to the gun shop and bought me an AK, an AR. We have matching, and it was the coolest thing ever. Gun shop. I'm like, yeah.
you want me to?
Yeah.
You know, I
He's the
I
best.
have Rob and I have never met ever. We've never talked ever, but I think that we get along pretty well. I think.
Yeah, my husband is definitely a Second Amendment man.
He's a kind of guy.
Yes, we both
No, because
are. But he grew up in Oklahoma, and he's been hunting and shooting and all that his whole life. And I grew up in Kansas, where I walked in to the pig. We had a pig's like a trough, and they eat anything, and I got stuck in my boots. So I'm the girl that runs
ooh.
off the boots, thinking they're gonna eat me.
Mhm.
But I
I
am a
mean,
country. It took a little bit. I had to go back.
I mean, they might have. Depends on how hungry they were.
I mean, that's how they got rid of people in the mob, right? I mean, the big
Supposedly.
this mafia thing. So I think it would probably be me that they eat. Yeah, it was bad. It was bad. I was not me. I'm so glad that people change over the years and they don't stay who they were, because God, I was a horrible bitch back then.
Yeah, I
Oh,
mean that's another thing we talk about this on the show a lot with our guests is it's like thank goodness you can grow. Thank goodness you can become a different human being as you get older. Because I've said it before a lot, and it's true. It's Brittany would have not talked to me, you know, 10 years before we met, because I
no.
was I was a sloppy shit wrecked drunk, falling down because it was a Monday night after work kind of thing, and then
Yeah.
and I was see at my heaviest I was like 315, and I'm not a tall man, so I was shaped like a
5'2".
ball. Yeah, I'm so here I am a living drunk ball pretty much. That's basically but yeah, it's thank goodness. Like
Yeah.
I
I'm so happy about that fact. I'm sure Rob wouldn't have probably wanted to be with me. I might not have wanted to be with him 10 years ago. I mean, shit. But I don't know. I do like growth a lot as a person. I feel like one good thing about bodybuilding was it did teach me how to grow as a person.
Mhm.
It taught you a different avenue for your addiction, and it I think it taught me how to start looking at things differently. I had to go through a bunch of experiences, that people talk about, the dysmorphia, the addiction to it, the validation, all the bullshit, in order to be able to actually come back and say this is bullshit. And it's one of those, I made it through things, and there's a lot of people that don't.
You can if you have a strong mind through it all, you can really take away a lot of really positive lessons from your entire experience as
Mhm.
a as a competitive athlete. Because it really if you really let it, it can teach you a lot about you. And I think in order to become a better like partner for someone, you really need to figure your own bullshit out to the best of your ability first, and then find somebody else that can help tie up the loose ends.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and that's such a great way to say that. Rob and I are very yin and yang, and I mean, it. We have a lot of cheesy shit to say about each other, but it's also true. Like, he completes me, but he does. It's it's not just a Jerry Maguire. It's not just one of the best lines. It's true. And all those things you used to think were dumb and cheesy, then they come to you and they slap you in the face, and you're like, oh, okay.
I guess I'm cheesy now.
I don't care. I love it.
That's good. No, like I'm all about it. Like I'm not a relationship hater. Like it doesn't matter.
But there are relationship haters. What the
Oh
fuck is
yeah,
that? I've
people
been through
people
a few
gotta
of
people just gotta have something to bitch about. It's just and if
this.
they're tired of bitching about their life, they might as well take it out on yours, right?
I think it's that whole adage, misery loves company.
Hmm.
And when you're not miserable anymore, those people don't want your company, but they sure don't want you to be anybody else's company either. And it's a little bit insane. There's some insane people out there. We know a few together.
I don't. I don't know what you mean.
Oh, okay.
Well, David, cheese is good. My
Like good.
that Gouda cheese.
Yeah.
But I was going to tell you. Okay, so we tangented pretty hard.
What am I here?
So
I don't even know what I'm
um,
here for.
so you recently earned your pro status in the WBFF.
Yes.
So, all right. First off, congratulations
Thank
for
you.
real. Like I'm really proud of you because we've talked intermittently about you really are like I'm gonna do this shit and I was like well, yeah if anyone is it's you stubborn ass you're gonna
Yeah, I've had a lot of fucking amazing support from just people and friends and people in the WBFF. It's been pretty. It's been a fucking amazing experience, is what it's been.
yeah. So in your I've seen you talk about this before, but I would like on our show your your opinions, the differences between the WBFF and the NPC IFBB.
I'll preface it with these are my opinions. It doesn't mean that's everybody's opinions. It's just what I've seen and experienced. So now that we're over that, um, the difference between the two is WBFF is called World Beauty, Fitness, and Fashion, and it emphasizes fashion and modeling and aesthetic. It doesn't just emphasize muscle and striation. I mean, the 2% body fat. It's a lot different. They don't want the women to look like they do in figure and NPC or in physique. They want the softer, they want them to look like a woman. They want them to be pretty. They want them to be marketable, and you also get judged on everything in WBFF. So, for instance, we have check-ins on Friday nights for what shows that I've been in, and when you come to check in, it's not like NPC where you're in your robe and your first tan and you're disgusting and you stink. You are dressed to the nines. You have a gown on or something. Just I mean, it's like a adult prom. It's great. It's like a music awards almost. You show up and you look amazing the next day. They all have the same makeup and tan and all that stuff, so you all have the same like chance. There's not going to have somebody that does your makeup like a unicorn and you go on stage looking like an asshole. They're not going to let them do that. So there's a bunch of congruency there. I like that too, consistency. And it's just so much fun. The people and the women that I have met in WBFF are more mature. They are just in general, like age wise and attitude. Um, they care about each other. They're helping each other backstage. We're not just looking at each other and kicking each other because I think you have less body fat and blah blah blah. It's a different it's a different atmosphere. It's a lot different atmosphere for me. It's an actual support system. And that who doesn't want to wear these badass bikinis? That's another huge difference. NPC has the standard triangle bikini. Everybody's basically looks the same. It's just the stones are different and some different accessories. Everybody looks the same basically on stage. In WBFF, these bikinis can be anything your creative mind wants them to be, and they're complicated. They're simple. They're gorgeous. Um, then you have like if you're in bikini for instance, you then get to come out later in an evening gown. These evening gowns are off the charts. I mean, they're like evening gowns that people are wearing on red carpets at the ACMA awards and shit like that. They're gorgeous. And then if you're in fitness like I am, you can wear the bikini and then you get to wear a costume, like theme wear. I just can't. It's amazing. The atmosphere and
I've never watched. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I've never watched the WBFF show, so so NPC IFBB fitness is there's like a athletic routine attached to it.
yes.
So
There's
WBFF fitness is Are
So
you still?
fitness is the category, and it basically, I mean, quads and abs, and just an overall aesthetic is and beauty and how you look, and that's all fitness in WBFF. It doesn't have that. We do have a choreographed routine, but not like fitness where they're doing gymnastics in NPC.
Okay.
So that's different.
So like a choreographed routine, is it more of like a dance?
For us, it's different posing, but it can be, NPC and IFBB have like, their standard poses. There's like five. You can do whatever you want here. You can twirl around, which I did a whole lot of. I mean, all kinds of just whatever suits your body, suits your suit, whatever you want to do. So it's your routine. If you mess up, nobody knows but you. So yeah, but it is different. The fitness in NPC IFBB is more actual athletics where they're doing the gymnastics and they're doing the push-ups and they're doing that. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Rad. So what are the what are all the categories then?
For NPC is bikini. Do you want just women's? I guess.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, little guys with no legs. There's hammock guys, and then there's guys that are running Coleman, and I just can't handle that. So that's guys. The women in NPC, there's bikini, there's figure, and physique. Fitness is a category that there's actually not a lot of people in NPC because it's the athleticism and the gymnastics and stuff. I know
Mhm.
personally, that's it. Um, and then there is bodybuilding for women, and for a while it had been taken out of the sport because of the fact that
Mhm.
people were complaining that there was no femininity in it anymore. And well, they were right. There wasn't any femininity, and it took away from that. But people also, I heard, over research and stuff, documentaries, different things, complained when the bikini part came in because 100,000 girls came in wanting to be bikini, and it messed up the show and the aesthetic that these other girls who were doing figure and stuff for so long were trying to promote. So those are the categories in NPC. WBFF has bikini, and then you have fitness, wellness. They have a figure as well. It's kind of the same proportions and stuff like that, but you don't have to
Mhm.
do those weird poses. And then that's it. They don't go any higher. They don't want you
Okay.
to. And they have a men's category. And oh, they also have my favorite category is transformation.
Okay.
It's beautiful.
Well, when it comes to the men's side of things, it really kind of so the man who founded this with his wife is Paul Dillette. And
Yes,
for those who don't know, like Ryan, are you able to pull up a picture of Paul Dillette real quick?
like an old one.
Yeah, back when he was back in his prime, Paul Dillette.
Frankenstein. Yeah.
Give me a minute.
Yeah.
Go ahead and keep
All
talking.
right. But he was a late '80s '90s mass monster dude. He was fucking huge,
Hmm.
and notoriously his posing wasn't the best. Because I mean, if you ever watch a Paul Dillette posing routine, it's like, ooh, he didn't practice that too much. But but he, it amazes me that he is the head of this organization that is all about beauty and grace and not being
You
too
should
big.
pull up
And
a before picture and then a picture of him now, where he's definitely about fashion and that you can see a huge difference. He didn't like where the sport was going. He didn't like where it was headed, and he wanted women to look a little bit different. So he created this one, and it's not more exclusive by any means. It's not the correct word. Um, it's just I think more mature might just be the better. And I'm not saying that there's not mature people in NPC because God knows everything can be taken out of context, but
Mhm.
but this is a little bit more mature for sure.
Yeah, but I like I like listening to Lee Priest interviews. He talks about all the time when him and Paul Dillette were living together.
Oh God, I
Because
need to listen
you know
to those. I bet they're funny.
he's yeah, the Australian guy and the British guy talking about eating and training and the nonsense they would get in. But yeah, that's something that I've always been like, okay, so Paul Tillett, one of the first bodybuilders that was like Photoshop memed because he was already ridiculous looking.
Yeah, he didn't even
He's
have
like,
to be. He was
yeah,
just huge. What's funny is I didn't know that before I got into it, but then when I started researching it and I realized all of this, I was like, holy shit. And then you go back and you see Generation Iron and shit like that, and you're like, oh, I remember him. Oh, I remember him. He's on this
hmm
other movie called Killer Sally, that one that I was talking to you about too. He's in there.
yeah.
Yeah.
Is it showing pictures of him then,
It was
or is it,
so the it's a documentary about a female bodybuilder who did the muscle fetish stuff. She just sold VHS tapes. She got tons of money to go to have men over her house or have go to their house and choke them out and wrestle them. And I mean, it's exactly what that Washington Post article was kind of about. But she was happy to do it, so she knew
right?
what was going on. There's
There you
Paul. Oh, there he is. That's fucking insane.
go.
So, do you have a picture of him now?
I do not, but he does not look the same.
Nope.
No, sorry.
No. I mean, just look at that.
Yeah, now
Oh,
he's definitely sized down, and I don't know too much about his wife. Um,
she's Canadian. They have two beautiful daughters. I saw them. They're dancers. The daughters are. They danced on the world stage. They have. It's like the Super Bowl of WBFF, and so it's also just amazing. It's like the Olympia for WBFF, and
okay.
I saw them perform on that, and they're gorgeous little girls. They're not little by any means anymore, but
Mhm.
she and I don't know, hardly anything about her. I know that she is kind of the brain and the beauty behind it, and she's really sweet from what I hear. Hopefully I'll find out someday because once you get first pro show, I believe is one of the biggest ones, because why wouldn't I do that?
Of course, of course. Go big or go home.
I'll be there. But we're just starting to train for that kind of now. I'm still in that, the whole bulking phase. I'm not bulking.
Mhm.
I refuse. And I am going to get over everybody thinking you have to get fat to gain muscle. I'm not doing it.
Right. That's another thing that I'm glad is coming to a slow death.
God.
Um, but like that's there is a whole um, there is a whole
Misconception.
misconception that you need to be if you're a 260-pound bodybuilder, you need to be 320 in your off season.
Why?
And
Why can't you
why?
just?
It's going to be okay. Just lay off the sauce for a bit, take a break, you know, stay get in your routine. Of course, do what you got to do to grow, but like your body needs you can make it happen. Just chill.
And what about the sauce? Like, that's the other thing is I've noticed I took Anavar back in the day, and I mean every now and then, but I don't like Anavar. It doesn't I don't think it does anything for me, so I don't take it anymore. But I would never take anything past that. SARMs, but those are like so low key that you could give them to
Mhm.
a child and they would be like me. So, but I didn't take anything after that, and that was just my own choice.
Mhm.
I took Clan at the beginning. I had a horrible coach. One of my first coaches was not good. My fault. That was my naivety, and you know that's something. These girls and guys that get into this too, they get shitty snowed over coaches that had one competition under their belt, and then they ruin other people, and that's kind of what happened. So I
Mhm.
took that whole like prep, and I was batshit crazy. Never took it again. So, but you get past that and you have all this sauce that people are on, and then they just blow up because they can't function without it.
Yeah, like the there the amount of women who ruin their bodies for the rest of their lives for a cheap trophy blows my mind. And it's just and it goes back to It goes back to the being naive, and it goes back to being taken advantage of, or letting yourself being taken advantage of one way or the other. And it's nuts.
That's where that
All right.
the Wall Street Journal thing comes in, where I'm like, it, you know what choice. Like, I know whenever I allowed somebody to take photos of me, what their photos were going to be used for, and I made that decision at the time. These girls, something in their head put that this trophy and whatever this was promised to them important enough that they could dick those pictures out there and then be ashamed for the rest of their lives. So then you have to look back 20 years later and you're like, I still have to remain anonymous because of it. Was it worth it? I think girls,
No,
when
that's
they get,
that's a, that's why I really wanted to talk to you about this, because you're a very free person that's been a I'm going to do what I want kind of thing ever since I've known you. So I mean, I don't think you've done anything that you necessarily regret. So
I mean,
that's why I wanted your opinion, really.
not regrets. No, no, I don't get it. That's where that whole mindset where I like, okay, I don't know the details, but I also just don't get it. Say no. I don't want to do this. That's it.
There you go. So you've recently retired from the workforce.
Mhm. Yeah.
What does a retired person who also models and is a professional athlete do?
A lot of shit. I just don't. Sometimes I wonder what the fuck I do all day. For real though, busy all the time. We have two dogs, and one of them is a Doberman, and he's pretty high maintenance. So he's on the plate every day, and I do still do projects. I like consulting for firms. I'll do those. Because I want to. I don't ever want to get rid of it forever. I like it. It's I've done 25 years. Um, but I don't like people. So that part of it. But it's been the biggest blessing that I've had. It came right around the time when I had my hysterectomy. Uh, and so, not having to work and go through that, it was, I don't even know how somebody would have been able to do both. I mean, and I've been, one of those people that worked 60, 80 hours a week pretty constantly and then trained and did all this stuff. And now I look back and I'm like, how the fuck did I do that? I also know how I made it through college. So it's kind of, but it's, my mental health is so much better. I did family law, obviously,
Mm-hmm.
but that is just, it's people are not good to each other at all anymore in any sense of the word, and to see that unfold over and over and over again, and then children be in the middle and used as leverage, and these shitty ass parents and shitty just people. We got participation trophy kids getting divorced, and it's not anything I'll be able to do again. So it's retired is awesome. I take care of her home. I do, you know, I want to make sure that my whole job, for me, make sure that my husband is able to, he needs to provide, and I make sure he never has to do anything else, because that's a good handoff. I'm gonna keep care of you because you keep care of me. It's not hard. It's easy. Life. I love it.
Well, good, good. I'm glad.
Back here. See?
Whoo. Well, I mean, that's all I got to really talk to you about today. Tell tell everybody where they can find you if you want them to find you.
Well, if you want to find me, I'm on Instagram. It's Mrs. Watts WBFF Pro, and I have my own little Wednesday wellness that I can't wait for you to come on, because your story is amazing, and I want to hear everybody to hear about it. Yeah, you can find me on Instagram that way.
And what is your Instagram handle, ma'am?
Mrs. Watts WBFF Pro.
This girl's thinking she's the first page of Instagram and shit when they log in. Come on.
Not yet. Give
Well,
me that.
Heather. Well, thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for listening to the Sober Swole podcast. Once again, I am Jake Howard.
And I go by DJ Swirl.
I'll talk to
Heather,
you.
hey, stay on for a little bit after
Okay.
we kick off here.
Ooh, we got to talk about that thing.
Sure, yeah, absolutely.
Hey, it's Warhorse. Do you want your workouts to look like this? Or do you want your workouts to slay? When Warhorse picks his pre-workout, he wants it to slay. If you want second place, go with somebody else. If you want to be a champion, go